Welcome to the Vault Podcast and Reviews, where music still matters. You can check out everything we're doing at facebook.com/thevaultrvws, youtube.com/c/The Vault Reviews. We're on Stitcher, at The Vault Music 1 for Twitter, at The Vault Reviews on Instagram, and send us anything you feel like sending us, thevaultmusic1@gmail.com. And welcome back to The Vault Reviews, here for another review. Today we're going to do the latest from Megadeth entitled Dystopia, 2016 release, pretty much brand new. Brent's with us again today. Brent, I know you're a Megadeth fan. How'd you think this one stacked up just initially?
Initially, I enjoyed it, actually. I actually enjoyed it. I was surprised. I haven't really liked a whole lot of what I've heard from Megadeth since, what was it, was it Rust? Or not Rust, Risk. Sorry, that was stupid.
Oh, Risk. Oh.
Right, yeah. Yeah, there was Risk. Anyway, really since Cryptic Writings, I haven't been a huge fan of anything they've done. But I actually, this one, it was different, though. It was very different.
I agree. You know, before we get too into this, it's been it seems like it's been like 10 years. I don't remember when the last album came out, but it's been a while.
Yeah.
And they got a couple new guys in the band now. They got Chris Adler, the drummer from Lamb of God, and one guy I like, Kiko, one of the new guitarists from Angra. And I don't know if you guys don't know Angra, you should go check them out. They're pretty cool. So they're going to add, maybe a little bit different element to the band.
Yep.
But I just want to get that out there. So let's just jump right into it. I guess what were your initial thoughts once you started actually listening to it?
Well, before we do that, number one, they had an album come out in 2013, Super Collider, which I haven't heard, I don't think, anything off of. But
so it's been 3 years. You
Yeah.
said 2013. Yeah, 3 years. So that's still a little while.
Yeah. Anyway, sorry, that was anyway.
That's what happens when we ramble. We get those facts out there.
Exactly. It's like ancient Chinese secrets. Only
it is.
They're not ancient or Chinese or secret.
They're Wikipedia secrets.
That's right. That's what we keep the wiki for, baby. No, number one, I mean, I knew Dave Mustaine had kind of been going down this, and I don't necessarily want to say this a bad way, I guess, but kind of this Alex Jones kind of rabbit hole.
Yeah, which I love, by the way.
Oh, yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. Dystopia, that is one of my favorite genres of everything. I am a conspiracy theory buff. I love reading them. I love, learning about them. And dystopia stuff, I absolutely love it. I really, truly do. Whether it's video games, books, movies, it doesn't matter. If it's like, an evil, oppressive government is trying to kill everybody and the world is not perfect like they promised it would be type stuff, I absolutely love it.
Sign me up.
Yeah, it's just instantly, it has a special place in my heart. So whenever I actually saw this, and, you look at the cover art, actually, is very illustrative of the whole message. You've got this guy carrying it's a samurai sword, which is weird in the context, but I guess it looks cooler than a big broadsword or something. But he's carrying the decapitated head of Statue of Liberty, and has what is it, the little Matrix looking little drone things or whatever those were called?
Yeah, mm-hmm.
Around him and stuff, and everything's crumbling and all that. So if you dig that, I mean, it's kind of, I guess it is a concept album, I guess is what you would say, wouldn't it?
It could be considered a concept album, but I think it's more just Dave Mustaine. I hadn't listened to Super Collider, but I know the last few years, anytime I saw something about him, there was always controversy, and it was always involving politics, whether it was he's supporting this guy or he doesn't believe in anything or something to do with religion or conspiracies, any of this stuff. And I had a feeling that's kind of where this was all going. I had no idea musically, and we'll get to that in a minute.
Yeah.
But as far as just what it was going to be about and where kind of he's at, I had a feeling it was kind of going this direction.
Yeah.
And he, I also he always caught grief for everything too, which means I knew it was going to be good, because most of the time people who put down other people, that whether they think this way or not, they're doing. They're not just doing like a Man of War or something,
right.
Where it's just talking about the same stuff again.
Right.
And I'm not a lyric guy, but I could even pick up lyrics and titles and what was going on in here, and I was digging it. So, yeah, go ahead.
It's not I guess you're right. It's not technically a concept album. When you think of political kind of dystopia, concept albums, like 9 Inch Nails' Year Zero,
Uh-huh.
Like this isn't like that. But everything kind of ties together because, like you said, it's all political. It's all, it honestly seems like it comes from a very angry place.
Oh, I think it does. Yeah.
And I'm not necessarily saying that's a bad thing at all. So it's just, be prepared. If you don't like political messages in your music, well, just try to ignore it because some of the music's actually pretty damn good.
Yeah, let's. So we've covered a lot about the lyrics. I mean, really, we summed it up. Do you want to talk? Is there anything else specifically that stands out to you about lyrics?
No, it's just you know what you're getting into with the title of the songs. I mean,
and since we're talking about lyrics, let's also talk about the vocals. I wasn't a huge fan, to be honest. I thought he kind of had a strange delivery on some of the songs. It sounded like he was almost just like as he was writing the lyrics, he was talking them out loud, like he was talking angrily. And that's what makes me think even more that this is like all him because I know kind of where he stands on this stuff.
Right.
And then the hooks and the melodies weren't quite there with his vocals like they have been in the past. Rust in Peace, and even going way, way back to Killing Is My Business. A lot of his vocal parts is kind of what latched on to me in certain parts of the songs. Right. And that there are good vocal hooks and melodies in this, but it just didn't grab me like some of the ones in the past.
Yeah, see, I don't know. I'm kind of a little bit different. It does, you're absolutely right. It is almost like he's speaking it angrily. It's kind of like every song he sings like sweating bullets.
Yeah, good point.
And that kind of gets old. It really does with the album. It can get old, but I think at the same time, I actually enjoyed it. It didn't grow as stale to me. And a lot of that's, I don't know, I guess a lot of it is, it's a lot more aggressive than I was used to hearing Megadeth be. And I guess that's why I kind of latched onto it. Of course, I had also been arguing politically with some people that day. So I was feeling a little politically aggressive anyway. So maybe there's a little subliminal, or not subliminal, but you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Going on there. So I don't know. But like I said, I was actually impressed compared to some of the stuff that they've been releasing. It's actually really good. Like some of the stuff, what was it, like the United Abominations or whatever?
Yeah.
Some of the stuff, I heard a couple songs on there. Some of it was awful. Like the remake they did of, what is it, like Le Tout-Le-Monde or however you actually say that?
Yeah. I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
The remake they did with that was just, I thought, just abysmal. So maybe I'm casting a better shade on this because I was impressed that this wasn't as bad as some of the other stuff had been. Does that make sense?
Yeah, and I think there's a lot of people because that think that way because when I first decided, hey, let's do a review on this album, I heard a lot of hype about it. And, a lot of the podcasts I listened to, a lot of the media publications, everybody's talking new Megadeth, return to their roots, which I do agree, this, if they're returning to their roots, this sounds a little bit in vain of the Rust in Peace era kind of Megadeth. But, my favorite Megadeth is the real early stuff. I mean, it's where he's basically out to say, big F you to Metallica, I'm going to outdo you.
Right.
And, he talk about being angry and ferocious back then, whether it's the speed riffing and his kind of screaming that he was doing. I like the political overtone a lot better in this album for sure than I did, Killing Is My Business and Business Is Good. Well, it's just kind of funny actually.
Right.
But a lot of these songs, for not being a lyric guy, I actually was digging a lot of the lyrics in this. But the vocals, I want to go back to that in a minute. I don't think they were bland. It's just it didn't really kind of grab me like some others do. So, and especially previous Megadeth. I think Cryptic Writings really was the last Megadeth album that I was actually liking. And then ever since then, I've just kind of been like, meh, which I'm sure we'll review all of those in time.
Yeah, no, Cryptic Writings was absolutely excellent. It really, truly was. And believe it or not, it was that one and oh dear God, it just escaped me. It was a couple before that. With the one with Sweating Bullets on it.
Countdown to Extinction or Euthanasia?
It was Countdown to Extinction.
All right.
That was actually my first foray, so to speak, I guess. Into
that has their biggest hit on it ever.
Yeah, and that was what I had heard, because at the time, everything I heard was either my sister's or my brother's music because I was too young to be buying it myself. Well, at least that's what, my parents told me. And so, I'm not like way back into Rust in Peace, although I have listened to it and enjoy a lot of that. So I don't know. Maybe that's part of it because I actually kind of liked the vocal stylings on here. I liked how it was. It was real clear, but it's not. Part of my problem I've always had with Megadeth is sometimes his voice is very, very whiny.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's almost like I'm looking at like Jay Cutler, and I just think he's going to start crying.
That's probably the best comparison I've ever heard.
And well, but I mean, really, it's like you're listening to his voice, and it's like he's got to be ready to start crying or something. And it does. It looks like Jay Cutler every time something happens. He looks left, and it's like he sheds a tear. And so I don't know. Maybe that's why. I don't know. I enjoyed it, especially the first two tracks. The first two tracks I thought were killer. They actually really pulled me into the album. There again, I am willing to admit that it very well may be that I am just so attracted to dystopian stuff that I was already attracted to it and a little bit biased that way. But I think, honestly, especially the drumming was a lot more solid and a lot more pronounced than I'm used to in Megadeth albums.
And that's probably the reflection of Chris Adler from Lamb of God being their new drummer.
Yeah, I mean, it's very noticeable, at least for me. And granted, I haven't liked or listened to much since Cryptic Writings. There was a little bit of Risk I listened to. Yeah. But whenever I heard that song, that Moto Psycho,
yeah,
I got so tired of the play on words, and I just wanted to punch him. And I mean, people may like it, and I'm sorry, but I did not. That song absolutely drove me nuts. So this being a complete departure from stuff like that was very refreshing for me. And like I said, the drums are in your face. There's actually, I don't remember which song it's on, but there was actually a pretty cool little bass riff going on too.
Yeah, I want to jump into the music like right off the bat now, so you can go ahead and keep going with that if you want.
Oh, no, that's fine. I was just going to say, I really wish I could remember which song it was, but I kind of broke my thumb a while ago, and I can't really write. So I just kind of did all of this in my head, and I lost track of which song that actually was. But there's one of them that has a pretty good bass riff, so go ahead and carry the day, sir.
Yeah, just talking about the music. I knew going into this isn't Killing Is My Business, peace sales, but who's buying? We're not going to get that music. I understand that.
Right.
So I went into it, fresh, clean slate. And there's two things. I think the parts where he's singing are the most bland thing ever. Like the music going on during the verses, very, very bland, which in the past they had always, Megadeth had always put out, some kind of ripping riffs behind his singing.
Right.
And always had kind of a little bit of that jazz feel to it, right. I guess you could say.
Yeah.
And I didn't get that while he's singing. However, when it got to any non-singing parts, whether it was solos, whether it was just kind of a bridge in the song, whatever it was, fantastic.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, it was probably heavier than any, production-wise than anything I've ever heard from Megadeth. So if you like the newer heavy crunch sound on the guitars, it's got that. You can tell with the new guitarists they've added, a lot of the solos are cool and innovative sounding. And honestly, one of my favorite songs was Conquer or Die, which is an instrumental.
Yep. Yeah, it was fantastic.
Yeah, that's one of my favorite songs on here. So, and it's just, it carries that whole album. It's like the verses, music's kind of bland. All the rest of the music, fantastic. What do you think about that?
I kind of wonder if it's not by design on this one, because like we've already mentioned, he is very, very, you can tell lyrically he's very angry at the state of the world and politics and how the United States is going. And because, one song's literally post-American world. I mean, you don't get a whole lot more, upset about things than, talking about that. So I honestly wonder if, and this may just, it may not be this, maybe I'm going a little too far with this, but I wonder if it's not on purpose. So you actually don't notice the music. You have to pay attention to the vocals. And honestly, that kind of fits Mustaine's a little bit like kind of narcissism or egotistical kind of attitude that he's always had. that, no, you're not going to outshine my message, so tone it down. And then whenever I quit, you can really, crank it. And so that may or may not be true, but honestly, it kind of worked for me because there again, I am a lyrics guy. So I dove into the lyrics almost immediately, especially, Dystopia. Whoa.
Yeah.
But what did bug me, some of the chorus stuff, especially the song Dystopia, which I love the track otherwise, but it's like in the middle of everything, all of a sudden he just says Dystopia.
It was kind of cheesy.
Yeah, and then he says it again and again and again, and it's like, what? Just shut up. And it's just very weird how he's done it. And so there is some very odd things like that, but I wonder honestly if some of the music, because it's a lot more punchy, it's a lot more, I guess, just violent actually overall, especially the drumming. The whole thing, there's double bass throughout this, and which is something I wasn't honestly expecting from Megadeth. Megadeth, I guess, but I wasn't expecting it to sound like it did.
Right, because you're probably used to the last couple albums like most people were.
Right, yeah. And so, I don't know. I understand it. It is a valid criticism because, like you said, listen to one of my personal favorite albums of theirs is Euthanasia. And the guitars are just blazing from the first song all the way through.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just, I think it's great from beginning to end. The guitar work and everything's great. And, feel free to butcher me in the comments and everything on that if you like. I enjoyed it. I thought it was fantastic. This is not it. But the stuff, like you said, between like the verses and all that, and even some of the chorus work and everything is actually pretty good.
Yeah, it's a great point that you bring up because, I said I was following a lot of the lyrics. I think it worked. I'm pretty sure that's right, that I never even put the two together. Here, Dave Mustaine wants me to think about what he's doing, and I can't even connect the dots.
Well, honestly, I didn't listening to it. It was just you happened to say something whenever you were talking about that, and it was kind of like a little light bulb moment. It's like, wait a minute. And
if Dave was listening right now, he'd be like,
that, or he'd be like, man, I fooled him. Got them. Yeah, that's what I was doing. Yep.
Oh yeah, he'd admit it anyway.
Well, right, yeah. So if you are going to start claiming that, Dave, I do accept royalties. Like Dave's ever going to listen to this. Just for that, somebody who is listening is going to know Dave somehow personally, and he's going to make sure he does. And he's going to show up at my door and whip my ass one day or something.
Better video it if it happens. Not to sue him, but just so you can say,
right? Yeah, yeah.
Send it to me.
yeah. Put Mustaine fights.
Dave Mustaine street fights.
That's right, dude. That would be an amazing YouTube collection.
It would.
It would be awesome.
And it could be just verbal street fights with his politics against,
right,
Trump supporters or something. Actually, I don't know. Maybe he likes Trump. I have no idea.
Oh God, I hope not.
We're better stay on track here because I know we could go on about that all day.
Yeah, especially you said Trump and. Yeah.
All right.
I think that's the state of politics.
Yeah, I think that's pretty much it as far as music goes. Do you have anything else you want to add before we kind of start getting into the rating?
No. It's like I've said, a couple times already. It's not the greatest work they've ever put out. It's really truly not, but it is a lot better than their last couple of albums, in my opinion. At least a little bit I've heard. There again, I haven't, stuck with them a whole lot. I was kind of heartbroken whenever they redid that To Limone or whatever.
Yeah, the one you were talking. Yeah.
Yeah, they redid that, and I thought it was going to be really cool. I'm like, yeah, they redid it. This will be awesome. Oh my God, it's not.
I've always hated that song. I knew you liked it, but I've never, even the original, I just didn't care for it.
Well, deep down, I'm a romantic at heart, and that song's actually, it's helped me through some tough times. You get into the lyrics and stuff of it. It can help, but it's not that good. It's a far cry from Sweating Bullets, although I think that's kind of the attitude he's trying to give throughout the entire album is a Sweating Bullets attitude. It's like the hello me, you're going to listen to what the hell I'm trying to say.
Well, hey, it works, like I said.
Yeah. And of course there was I was looking somewhere, I don't know, I can't find it here right now. I guess there's a extra version or something. And one of the names of the songs was it was pure Dave Mustaine. And I really wish I could find it right now. But it was Me Hate Me or something like that. And it was like weird. And I'm like, that's Dave.
Yeah, no, yeah.
I mean, there was no other way to say it. I think it's actually on like a special album edition or something like that of this, maybe.
So on the Vault Star rating system, 1 star being the worst, 5 being the best, what do you give this album?
I'm going to give it a 3, and I don't want to go up to a 4. I don't want to go up to a 4, but I think it's better than a 3.5. So anywhere from 3.5 to 4, because if you like the dystopian theme, you're going to enjoy the album. If you like, some kind of aggressive, I don't know. I guess it's metal.
Yeah, it's metal. Yeah, sure, definitely.
Yeah, and
in fact, I think it's going to be easier for a lot of mainstream listeners.
Yeah,
if especially, well, I mean, I don't listen to a lot of mainstream metal or rock, right. not because I'm trying to be hip or cool. It's just right. I'll give it a listen, and most of the time I don't care for those bands. But right. I think really the only thing that could get somebody away from this being acceptable for mainstream would be the lyrics.
Yeah, definitely. The lyrics would put it instantly on a little bit of a non-mainstream. But no, I think some of the tracks I liked, I really, 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 really liked. Like the first 2 tracks, honestly, pulled me in. I loved them, except for the weird Dystopia thing that he did on the song Dystopia. I didn't think there was just an awful song, one that I didn't like, but there were a few of them that was like, I don't care to finish.
Yeah, there was, I think, 3 or 4 songs. Let's see, Fatal Illusion, Poisonous Shadows, Conquer or Die, the instrumental, which we talked about. Lying in one of my favorites.
Yeah.
So those 4 just were awesome.
Yep.
The rest of them were average. I'm going to give this a 3.5.
Yeah.
Which is a little above average. So
yeah.
I respect the fact that they came back and kept it heavy. They didn't go like some of these other bands, like, hey, let's start sounding like Journey. Or that's an interesting comparison.
That would be amazing.
It happens. Like a lot of these heavy bands that come out and they're like, they try to sell albums off their name from their like hardcore following that they have, and then it's just like. This definitely is the best album they've put out since Cryptic Writings.
Definitely, absolutely, definitely. Like I said, I don't want to go up to a 4. I really don't, but I'm actually tempted because just honestly, for me, it's the improvement that they've made, and the lyrical content just instantly sucks me in. So if you're into that stuff, I think you'll find it a little bit better than a 3.5 if you're a fan of metal with those kind of themes. But at the same time, there's enough negative about it that I just can't quite go up to 4.
So here's my thing.
I'll join you on the 3.5 just because it's a good settle place, But if you enjoy it, if you're kind of like a fan of mainstream metal but wish it talked negatively and had a lot of politics, you'll probably really enjoy this.
And here's my thing with the ratings. If the album is good and it's going to get a higher rating, it's something that when I get done listening to this album track by track in order, I'm ready to go back to track 1 and start listening again.
Right.
I listened to a couple of these songs more than once to see if I was missing anything, maybe. And now that I've listened to everything and some of them 2 or 3 times, there's like I don't necessarily want to go back and listen to this album. I mean, I know that sounds bad, but if it comes on, or I'll put it in, and I'll jam out for a while. But it's like we recently did the new Abath album. The minute I got done reviewing that, I was ready to go back and start jamming out all over again.
Absolutely.
So, and this one did not really do that. I think I will go back and listen to it more, though. Sometimes these albums grow on you with time.
Right.
And at least half of this album I already like anyway. So
right. And honestly, and I was a little bit different because I wanted to go back to, and it wasn't one of my favorite songs. I was just wanting to get at what he was talking about with like the song Fatal Illusion, which is, it's a good song, don't get me wrong. But the one song I didn't really care for, but I wanted to go back and listen to was Post-American World. Because, I don't want to get off on a political diatribe, but that's honestly something that's
what this whole review turned into, for crying out loud.
Well, that's true. But, it's just that's something that the world is possibly facing right now. America's still here, and it's probably not going to, quote unquote, go away. But our power in the world is so diminished, rightly or wrongly, however you feel about it. And, so to me, there was some interesting themes on here I wanted to explore, and the music was good enough to stick with me to explore them, if that makes sense.
Yep. No, that totally makes sense. I agree. Like this is one of the first metal albums I can remember in a long time where I could kind of follow what was going on with the lyrics because normally I just don't care or I don't agree with it, so I'm going to tune out if I can even make them out.
Yeah. Now, I mean, this isn't like this isn't a call to arms as the John Schaefer's Sons of Liberty
Oh
album
yeah,
is.
no, nothing like that. No.
This is more just a description and being pissed about it.
Yeah.
So I mean, if you're looking for some kind of like fist, bumping anthems and stuff like that, to try to get a call to arms, to set the brush fires, which that the Sons of Liberty album's called. This is not it. This is just kind of a description. I mean, this is kind of, and I don't mean this bad because I actually kind of enjoy some of it, whether I agree with him or not. It's always entertaining. It's just kind of like Alex Jones puts out a metal album.
I would pay top dollar to hear that. Actually, it'd be like Pat Boone in a metal mood.
Yes, yes. But
thematically, have to review that one too.
Yeah, we have to. But thematically, you understand what I'm getting.
Yeah, you're right on. Yeah.
So, all right, that's all I've got.
All right, so we're going to settle with a 3.5 on that. I think that's pretty solid. I don't think it lived up to a lot of the hype people were talking about, but it's it's a pretty solid album for 2016 in the grand scheme of what's popular in music. I think it's pretty solid.
Oh,
and it's the best album that they've put out since Cryptic Writings. So,
yeah, easily. Considering like what you said, considering what's been being put out, no, this is it's encouraging at least for 2016 to have this starting. You know what I mean?
Exactly. Yeah, so. We've got that, and we've got that new Abbott album kicking things off. So
yeah. And there's the new Borknagar.
Yeah, we're gonna have to get on that.
Have you listened to that? I don't want to.
I have not heard any of it yet, but I know I'm gonna dig it.
You have to check it out. It is. I was shocked. All
right, that's it. We're doing that one. That's gonna be our next one because I absolutely love that band. I love ICS Vortex and those clean vocals. So.
Oh yeah.
All right, we're gonna get out of here. We've kept everybody too long. Before we go, once again, check us out all over social media: Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Check us out on Stitcher, Podomatic, YouTube. Please take a time to subscribe, like, share, comment, leave a review, leave a rating, send us an email, anything. Just, become interactive with us. Leave the comments in the comments section. Let us know what you think about this album. Let us know what you think of what we think. I mean, put your political views in there of any kind. Just stay interactive with us and keep supporting the show however you can. So until next review, which is apparently going to be the new Borknagar.
Hell yeah.
See you later.
Peace.